The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen. Brought to you by Medines Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medines. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi everyone, I'm Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We have a great show tonight with Marty Kent, former Louisiana Tech kicker, all-conference kicker. We'll talk about his days at Louisiana Tech. We'll talk about how he trains kickers. There's a ton of kickers coming up in Shreveport and Bossier City in North Louisiana. We'll talk about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We'll talk about the pros. We'll talk about a lot of different things about kicking. If you're a kicker, this is your Super Bowl show to watch. But I want to go, before we start our guest, I want to thank the man in the house, the owner, entrepreneur, Mr. Italian Restaurant himself of the Giulio Brothers on Perkins Road, Mike Johnson.
Well, thanks, Lee. Thanks for doing your show out of here. We really appreciate it. It's nice.
We got your menu every week behind us. Mike's always in here early in the morning till late at night when he's not playing golf.
Well, I got a little day job thing that helps me, stops me from golf all the time, but yeah.
I wanted to promote your brunch because I think it's the biggest sleeper in the city of Baton Rouge. You have breakfast,
yeah, we start at 10:30, we go to 2. It's great right after the games. You can kind of sleep in a little bit and get here maybe 1 o'clock, 1:30, kind of rest up, come back, have a Bloody Mary, mimosa, maybe some shrimp and grits or eggs bonito, or we have some of the best spinach madeleine you'll ever have, and the cheese grits are perfect, and we've got about 8 or 9 different brunch items on the menu, much less the regular menu, which is hard to get sometimes and hard to get in here. But yeah, it's a great brunch. Terrific. Thank you. You got regular sausage and biscuits and all that stuff too. Oh yeah, man, they're terrific.
And then during the week, Mike, tell them about your hours like Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday from 10:30 to 2, and then Friday we start open up to 5. We go to 10. Saturday we're doing a little lunch now, and we do it about 1 o'clock, and we go to 10. And Sundays 10 to 2. So it's been great. We've been here 35 years. 35
years. Mike started here as a bartender.
The first bartender now. Yeah, that's right. I was rich, and now I'm the single owner. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Mike,
Crazy.
Thank you, man.
Hey, thanks a lot, Lee. Thank you for having me show. Yes, indeed.
Mike Johnson, owner of the Giulio Brothers, not far from Acadian, right by LSU on Perkins Road. Check them out after the game, before the game, during the game. Come get you some great homemade Italian food. We're going to be back with more with Marty Kent.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medines Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. Today we have a very special guest all the way from North Louisiana, from Shreveport, Marty Kent. We mentioned Marty in our last show that we taped. Marty is a former all-conference, all-world kicker from Louisiana Tech, went to Northwood High School in Shreveport, actually helps kids with kicking. One of his students is Aaron Burrell that you saw on our other show from Parkway, and has worked with numerous kickers over the years. Has a full-time job now, and we're going to mention his company because he's able to come down here on work time. But Marty Kent,
yes.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How was the trip?
Good. No rain, so that was good.
And then it rains when you get here.
It rains when I got here. So.
Marty, tell everybody about your passion for kicking, because you not only kicked for Tech and growing up at Northwood High School, your son's a kicker now at Evangel, a sophomore. I'll let you say the rest later in the show.
Sure.
But you have a passion for the kicking position. Every time I talk to you, I can feel it. You love the kicking part of the game.
Yeah, when I went to Tech and I got done with Tech, and you know, I wanted to go to the NFL, and the NFL, I guess I wanted it more than they wanted me, which happens, right?
Business type deal.
And I don't know, I just felt like God gave me this gift, and I felt like I was supposed to share it.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't really have a good way to share it, and I went and met with Pastor Dean Duran at one point, and 2 weeks later, I was working with those guys, and it just kind of morphed from there. And I probably worked with 25, 30 kids over the last years.
And I want to mention this for South Louisiana people. Pastor Denny Duran is the founder of Evangel Christian High School.
He
just
is.
so they know.
That's right.
I know the Shreveport people know him Bossier.
That's right.
But Denny, being a former pro quarterback of the Redskins, walking away,
Yes.
God called him and started the church.
Yes.
And now your son is there. What is that like? I mean, you're a dad with your son kicking.
It's different. You know, you know when you're coaching a kid, you know it's that kid.
Yeah.
And then when it's your kid,
See,
it is different. Yeah, it's a whole different experience altogether. I recommend it.
keep your emotions
Yeah,
at bay.
I don't do that very well. Probably go the other way.
All right.
And he would probably agree. But no, it's fun. It's very enjoyable.
What do you like most about seeing the young talent coming up in Shreveport, Bossier? Now that you're retired, now that you're working full time,
That's right.
what is it like to see all this young talent coming up? There's a lot of it coming up.
It's amazing. It really, right now, it's the most talent I've ever seen in this area. I mean,
We're going back 35 years.
Yeah. Dang, they hush now.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I mean, we've got Aaron, who's one of the top kickers. I'm kind of funny about saying
Right.
he's the number one kicker in the country.
Right. You're old school with it.
I believe we've got Abram Murray, who I think he's as talented as there is as well. We've got his younger brother Asher, who like my son is young and an up and comer. Garrett Little, who's got an amazing story.
Calvary Baptist. We're going to talk about that later.
There's John who's at Shreve. There's we've got a kid at Houghton. Ebar Carter. Sorry Carter. There's just a lot of talent in North Louisiana, and it was kind of neat to meet Woodring just to understand that there's a lot of talent down here as well.
Yeah.
So that was kind of neat.
I tell you, and there's kids that have so many great stories, Marty, and you probably read the column I wrote, Shreveport Journal,
I did.
Shreveport Bossier Journal, but the kid at Bossier, who moved from Mexico, and started kicking because his dad said, "Soccer's great, go kick,"
Right.
and never kicked before in his life.
Yeah.
And this kid's not D1, but it's just a great inspiration.
Yeah. Well, and here's what's crazy, so we go to play Bossier, and this kid goes out there, and he's obviously raw, and so I know the new acting principal there now is a good friend of mine, and I said, look, how do I get your kid out to me
To help.
so I can help him?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And so we're working on that now. So
That's good, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Louisiana Tech. We're going to talk about some tips maybe from Marty, if any kicking dads are watching, punters, long snappers, the special teams world. We're going to talk about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes that Marty's been involved in, and also his company. I want to give some plugs because he's down here working too. So We're going to be right back with more Marty Kent, former Louisiana Tech kicker and kicking guru. We'll be right back.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Welcome back. We have Marty Kent, our guest, Louisiana Tech grad, all-conference kicker. Be sure to watch our show. Go to YouTube. And I keep saying that subscribe because I'm learning the internet world, Marty.
Don't ask me, man. I'm way behind.
You know, Nolan, who helps us produce and set up every Tuesday when the shows play on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I've learned how important this stuff is to the people under 40 now.
Yeah.
Under 40. Ugh.
I know.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Continuing on, Louisiana Tech. How did that happen for you? Can you share your story going from Northwood High School in Shreveport and how that happened?
Yeah.
How easy was, or not easy, and your story on how that.
So I only had one other scholarship opportunity. The University of Arkansas offered me, and they offered 2 other guys. So
That's a lot for kickers. Yeah.
the other 2 guys took it, so they pulled mine, which was I guess meant to be. I ended up walking on at Tech, and I felt like I had a pretty good opportunity. I talked to Chris Boigno, and I had met a few times, and he said, "Look, if you'll show up, you'll win." And so I showed up, and I guess, as they say, the rest is history. I did well, and it provided me just a place to go and get a good education and play football. There's just nothing like college football.
Pretty modest though. You were all conference at Louisiana Tech.
I remember standing one day. We have this All-American wall at Tech, and I remember standing there, and the head coach comes by and he goes, "Hey, what are you looking at?" And if you know Coach Joe Raymond Peace,
Oh yeah, I know Joe.
so you know.
It's been a while since I talked to him.
Yeah, he was a little scruff. He's
tough guy.
He's a little laid back now. And I told him, I said, "I'm going to be the next guy on the wall." And he goes, "Man, just make field goals." And but he was right. You just make field goals, and that those things happen. And I was the next guy on the wall.
You the next guy on the wall. Robert Peace's son we promoted.
Yeah.
He went to Tennessee, who married one of Philip Fulmer's daughters.
He did, yeah.
But I went to Joe Raymond's house when I went to Ruston. He said, "Come to my house." I said, "Really?" He said, "Just come to my house. We'll hang out before the game." He was AD then.
Yes.
And I went to this long yard not far from Tech University and hung out with him and his family.
No telling what was buried back there.
Right. Ruston's a beautiful place.
It is. It is. And it's growing. Incredibly growing.
Incredibly growing. And, Tim Rattay, great quarterback.
We had some good ones, that's for
Troy
sure.
Edwards from Huntington.
Yeah.
All the Terry Bradshaw, obviously my hero growing up.
Absolutely.
So who was your favorite Tech player prior to you going to Tech? Did you have one?
You know what? I don't know that I did, to be very frank. I wasn't a football guy.
You weren't a football guy.
I was a soccer guy.
I got you. That became a football guy.
That became a football guy, and then I cut my teeth at learning the game while I was in college.
Wow. It's a great story.
Yeah.
And you remember who recruited you for Tech? Was it Joe Raymond or was it his special teams?
It was Joe Raymond, and it was Bobby Slaughter.
Bobby Slaughter. Wow.
Remember that name?
Oh, yeah. The receiver.
Yeah, he's back in Shreveport, man.
The Slaughters are like 3 generations over there.
They are. And as a matter of fact, his son is the catcher or the backup catcher or whatever. He's on the baseball team. So.
Unbelievable. Throwing those Tech names out for everybody.
That's right.
We don't have a lot of time. We're going to take a quick break. I want to come back, talk about Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Marty, and also talk about what you're doing now. Okay. And we got a couple of segments left, and we're going to dig into some more kicking talk. Okay. But I loved hearing that story about Tech and not growing up football. There's always a chance for kids. You don't have to love football until you're, 12, 13, 14 years old when you get into high school. Learn how to kick like this guy. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. I want to plug our host. This is the Giulio Brothers Italian Restaurant on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, not far from Acadian and not far from LSU's campus. Mike Johnson's the owner. He is allowing us to film in his restaurant in the mornings. I appreciate Mike letting us do that. Great food. You see the menu on the back. Homemade food. They make the food here. Nothing goes in the microwave. It's all it's handmade. Chicken Parmesan is probably what I'll get later on, or spaghetti, and the meatballs are unbelievable here. I mean, huge. I think the meatballs, Marty, weigh like 2 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And I think Nolan will say the pizzas are very good. I think the pizzas are very good. So go to the Julio Brothers restaurant. Also want to thank the Marriott Hotel, who actually put up Marty and Aaron and Aaron's dad on College Drive. Ralph Ney, thank you. Go think of Marriott when the playoffs come around, North Louisiana, and Superior Grill, which is on Highland Road here and Government Street and in Shreveport, Line Avenue.
Yes, sir. Yes,
which
sir.
I think you go there probably, huh?
Fairly regular.
Superior Grill, and then they got the steakhouse down the street in Shreveport.
Yes, indeed.
Marty, talk about Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and what does that mean to you and your involvement over the years?
So Fellowship of Christian Athletes is really just it's really just my faith. I mean, we can talk about all this football and all the things we want to, but the only thing that's eternal, right, is the one decision we make to follow Christ and be able to live through Christ. And so, people ask me, why do I have my kid at Evangel? You ought to have him over here. You ought to have him over there. I have my kid at Evangel because it'd blow your mind. They get worship, they get Bible study by an amazing Irvin Rutherford pastor, and for me, that's what life's about.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff is ancillary. It's the same reason that I go out and work with these kids, because God gave me the abilities.
Yeah.
And so it's just my way to give back.
Life is short.
Life is short.
And everything we do, hopefully, we do it the right way, the best we can. None of us are perfect.
That's right. And in North Louisiana, Terry Slack, he's been running the FCA for many, many years.
Yes.
I can't think of a better human being.
Yeah. Glad you mentioned Terry.
And his son. It's a great organization, and it's really just great because Jesus made it great.
We got 1 minute before we take a break, but in 1 minute or less, what advice do you have for a dad watching, has a kid coming up that wants to punt, kick, or long snap, and has never done it?
Wait till he's 14. I always tell people, kids, don't start too early, because you can develop a lot of bad habits early.
Burn out too, maybe.
And you can burn out. I see all these kids when they're 8 years old, 9 years old, playing baseball and going all over the country. I think that's crazy, but that's just
it's the new world.
It's a new normal, I guess. But just be consistent and let the kids enjoy it.
Yeah.
And know that they're not going to be in the pros in the first week.
Great way to put it for those mom and dads watching the show from all over the state of Louisiana, whether you're watching in Hammond, Shreveport, Bossier, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Thibodaux, which we got our guest next week's the quarterback from Thibodaux and his twin brother.
Thibodaux.
They're both 6'3".
Come on.
They're both twins. They both run 4.5 in the 40.
What?
And then the next show, we're going to have John Brady, former LSU head basketball coach, join us the week after that on the 8th. But we'll be right back when we take a break. We have more of Marty Kent. We're going to continue to talk to Marty Kent. We'll be right back.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Welcome back. I'm Lee Burkeen, host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. Didn't even know what a podcast was till 3 years ago. COVID hit. I met a guy that used to be my producer, Jason Ferret, who's an unbelievable person. Nolan, I know, thinks a lot of Jason Ferret. He's now does a lot of production work. If you need a commercial made or anything like that. But he said, Lee, go buy this equipment, that equipment, this equipment. I'm like, okay.
Here you go.
And I learned how to use 2 of them, okay. Nolan sets everything up for us right now, but podcasts are huge now, and it's unbelievable that we're getting thousands of people going on their cell phone.
That is amazing.
You know, when me and you were playing football, we didn't even have a cell phone, I don't think.
No,
I didn't have a cell
didn't.
phone. We had one of those buzz things in your car that was like 10 pounds if radar.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
right.
that was
That's right.
I thought that was Star Wars
That's
back
right.
then,
That's
didn't
right. Yeah,
you? I was in high school in '88. When were you high school?
not that old.
Okay.
94.
Not even, a little younger, not much, a little younger, about 6 years. Continuing on with Marty Kent, former Louisiana Tech all-conference kicker. He's on that wall at Tech, went to Northwood High School. You sat in on our show with Aaron Burrell and Peyton Woodring. Peyton being 223, going to Georgia. Aaron, now we're going to put their highlights in of all those 50-yard field goals.
Yeah.
What do you think of these young kids today kicking 55, 56, 57-yard field goals in games compared to when you were growing up? No, it was unheard of.
Yeah, crazy. I think it's crazy. I think the thing we got to take away though is this. This is, you're not going to kick a lot of those. I mean, what matters is when you get from 45 and in. And if a guy tells me, hey, look, I can make everything from 45 and in, because I think we talked about it earlier, one of the best kickers that LSU's ever had was there for 1 year.
Yeah, Cole Tracy.
And he didn't miss anything from inside 50.
He couldn't kick off an end zone to make that NFL.
He looked like me, and
Right.
trying to get in the NFL,
Right.
because he couldn't kick off with those guys.
Right.
And so it's impressive, and but I think some of these guys are just bigger.
Yeah.
They're stronger, which is good. And Aaron amazes me every time we go out and kick.
What is it about Aaron being only a junior at Parkway? I mean, tall kid. I didn't mention it in the show. 6'2", looks 6'4". Very calm demeanor that you need.
Yeah, he doesn't talk. I have to beat him to make him smile.
Laid back.
He's very laid back. You know what it is? God gave him an amazing ability. And early on, we talked about that. I said, God gave you all this talent. And I told him this, and he and his dad and I talk about it a lot. I said, if you'll just work at it, and you'll hone this skill, you'll be the best.
Humble kid.
Very.
And then you got a chance to meet Peyton today.
Yeah, loved him. Great kid.
Great kid.
Same scenario. Just a very humble young man who's putting the work in. And the guy that puts the work in is the guy who wins. That's just how it works. And if God gives you a lot of talent on top of it, then it just takes you over. Abram Murray up in Shreveport, he falls in the same category. I mean,
Bird High School.
These guys are just really good. Garrett Little, for different reasons. There's just a lot of really good talent in this state right now, and it's pretty incredible.
We're going to take a break. I'm not sure what time we have in or out right now, but we're going to take a break. We have one more segment left with Marty Kent, recruiting guru, Louisiana Tech grad, teaching these young men the how to kick and volunteers a lot of his time to do that. Yeah. We'll be right back with more Marty.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen, your host of Sports Scouting Report podcast. Marty Kent is our guest. People don't talk about two things usually in football: trainers and special teams. But yet college coaches always say in their press conference, Marty, you ever notice there's three things to win a game: offense, defense, and then they say special teams.
Yeah.
But they don't bring it up otherwise. And if you don't do well punting and kicking and handling snaps, you lose these games.
Yeah.
You see a lot of college games now that you see games decided by 3 points or less or 2 points, and the guy misses an extra point, comes back to haunt him.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, so by rule, when it comes to in high school, they only have so much time to practice, and so invariably what gets left out
Yeah, and college too, huh?
In college too, So, and you can see it. You can see it in the NFL that they're missing more kicks than they ever have, or getting them blocked.
Yeah.
And we're just, so we have better kickers now than we probably ever have, like literally.
Yeah.
And I just don't know that we're putting enough time in practice. And I don't think it's the coach's fault. I just think it's the time. They're trying to follow the rules.
I was talking to a college coach the other day. I don't want to say a name. Well-known college coach,
Sure.
retired. And I said, why does LSU special teams look kind of bad? This was like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
You got to put time in it.
Take time.
He said, you are as good as you practice. And I said, Coach, that is a great way to humble me on thinking about it.
Sure.
He said, but you can tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said, then they're going to go back to putting more time in it.
Yes. And they'll get better.
They'll get better. Louisiana Tech, I know you still keep up with Tech, had a heart-wrenching loss to Rice. What do you think of the new coach at Tech? It's always a Texas Tech guy.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Spike Dykes' son, or the coach now at Tech.
So I've only had one opportunity meeting, and here's what I took away from him. I took away he's a good Christian man. And when I met him, he had his kids
All around him.
all around him, and he was trying to wrangle them. And I think that culture will permeate that place, and he will turn that program into something special.
That's
back
big.
Back into something.
That's
special.
big regards there. That's good.
It is.
How do people get in touch with Marty Kent? And I'm going to ask you what you're doing these days. We want to promote your company.
So I work for a great company. I work for a company called Triton Stone. It's owned by the Jensen family, based out of New Orleans.
Okay.
I couldn't ask for better. If I had to work for somebody, I couldn't ask for better people to work for.
Tell them what y'all do.
We import granite stone, like countertops. We import stone from all over the world,
Okay.
and we're pretty good at it.
Okay.
And we handle every state from the southeast up to the Midwest, and so it's a pretty big deal.
Well, to call you for that, and if a mom or dad says, look, our kid's coming up, do you want to give out an email or something where they can email you? Or
So my boy had to tell me this. My Twitter feed is Marty Kent LA at Marty Kent. I don't know how that worked. At Marty Kent
you're
LA.
like me, you don't even. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So at Marty Kent LA. Look, I just want to help kids.
All right.
So reach out. I'll do my best.
And I know you're modest, and I know your son's a young kid, but he started as a freshman.
He did.
Tell everybody your son's name,
Kagan Kent.
and you're proud of him.
I am.
He's here,
He is. Yeah, he's right over there. So he's
still growing, learning.
he's learning. He's had a few bruises, as we all do when we learn.
Yeah.
But he's got a chance to be special if he'll just put the work in, just like
Okay.
anybody else.
Got 2 years left of kicking.
2 more years.
That's a lifetime.
Long time.
Marty, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Thank you for
Vinny.
coming down. I want to
Appreciate
thank the Aaron Burrell and his family from the last show that actually y'all rode together,
We did.
and appreciate being a part of what we do, and we
Yeah.
can promote these kids, and we're going to look back and say,
That's
wow.
That's what it's all about.
wow, these young men, what they could accomplish. And Aaron Burrell has got another year.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's crazy.
the Murray kid, another year.
It's crazy.
We're going to be talking about kickers we didn't even talk about South Louisiana kickers. There's 71 kickers
That's crazy.
in South Louisiana that are just seniors this year,
That's awesome.
and then 7 or 8 juniors. It's a kicking explosion, Marty.
Yeah. I want to get them all on one field. That'd be great.
See what happens, huh?
That's right.
you
Just
can
let
see
them
them all.
play.
I appreciate everybody watching the show. Again, go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button if you're a fan of Evangel, Parkway, Ascension Episcopal, any school, wherever you go. Be a part of what we do. Excuse me, I need to get some water right here at the end.
Get you some.
That's why they bring water out for the hosts when they do the show. But we'll see everybody really soon. Appreciate you joining us. Thanks to Marty Kent. In our last show, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Burkeen.